the focus on India and Vedic Soma rituals and rites, with a cannabis-inspired adoration of Shiva associated with sadhu and Hindu mendicants. Cannabis ingestion became one spiritual response to the non-dualism interpreted from the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, as devotees use cannabis as a useful tool in exploring consciousness associated with religious experience. Chapter 2 moves the discussion from South Asia to Persia and Anatolia and the Middle East, where on the Iranian plateau, Zoroastrian priests smoked the herb to produce religious ecstasy. Before the arrival of Islam in the 7th century, the Avesta scripture, that's the book of the Zoroastrians called Zend-Avesta, which referenced hashish as a beneficial narcotic. And their term, by the way, was haoma. So soma, haoma, very similar. And Mithraic sacrifices contributed to the use of cannabis in religious experience. When Islam emerged as the dominant religion, the use of cannabis as a religious adjunct persisted among the Persian Sufi sects of Islam, in spite of the Quran's prohibition on intoxicants that cloud the mind. Sufi mystics did not consider this injunction applicable to cannabis, as they believed it revealed truth rather than obscured it. And then he goes on to talk about what happened in China with the cultivation of cannabis as a foodstuff, a natural fiber, a healing agent, became more prominent than its religious and ritualistic uses. And he talks about the Taoist texts in China and the important pharmacological understanding of cannabis as a treatment of various variety of ailments. And many of those herbal knowledges, people believe, also were informed by Ayurvedic understandings that had been developed as well in the Indian subcontinent. So this is really kind of cannabis traveled in these different areas in the world, and the people that came into touch with it learned and discovered new things. So, the Taoists talked about cannabis as a healing herb and helped us with their understanding of the integral connections between body and the cosmos and the relationship between mental and physical wellness. On the Tibetan plateau, there was a unique form of Buddhism known as Vajrayana, or Tantra, that wove together. So Tantra means weaving together of Indian Vedanta, Shaivite Hinduism, and a range of Bon deities that were indigenous to that region of Tibet. And there was esoteric knowledge of medicinal plants and herbs, and they incorporated cannabis in the religious system. And then later on, it moves around the globe to the African continent, beyond to African religious influences in other parts of the world through imperial colonization. That is to say, when African were enslaved and brought to the Caribbean or to South America, they also brought with them cannabis. There are writings that talk about how they sowed the seeds of cannabis into little dolls that they had on their ragged clothing. It was that important. The same stories are told about the indenture, what do they call them? Giramitayas. These are people that in the 19th century were taken, usually lower caste, from like Madras and other places, and were shipped on the same ships that were used for transatlantic slave trade to work in sugarcane fields in Caribbean and in Mauritius and places like that. They also brought cannabis with them. So this is an important thing. I mean, if you're going to travel to a strange land and you have so few things that you can take with you, what are the few things that you bring? So I think this is it's such an important, this history and the fact that it traveled around the world like this is what I'm kind of trying to share with you a little bit about.